2018. It's blowing a hoolie outside, so I've taken to my shed, I'm all wrapped up, and there's no way I'm going to do any gardening today, but I'm sure, as you can probably tell by the titles, it's not going to be my straightforward video today. In fact, I'm not even going to talk too much because I'm going to let some other people do it for me. I think, just as a brief introduction, I had the idea only a couple of weeks ago that, you know, it is that time of year when you're gardening that you do start to reflect, and you know that you're not so busy doing things outside, so you start to reflect and make plans for the future. And part of my sort of sitting there and thinking about what the last couple of years has been like has been thinking about all the people who've inspired me. I mean, I've been gardening forever, but I've actually been making videos now for, oh, it seems like forever, but 2-3 years now. And I know there are certain people, and I'm not going to name names because there's too many, but there are certain people who have inspired me right from the beginning to get up, get out there and get on with gardening. And without them, I don't know if I'd have come this far, to be honest, because you know we do have ups and downs. So I've decided to share these lovely people with you, and I'm sure you'll recognise most of them anyway, if not all. And I've asked 11 fellow YouTubers to just do a very, very short clip about their favourite gardening tip, or their top gardening tip. And I just thought it would be fun to have a little compilation of of some of the most inspirational gardeners I find out there, and what their best tips are. So I am going to shut up now and I'm going to let them do the talking. So sit back and enjoy.
Hello everyone. Now our climate is changing and we're told our summers are going to get hotter. So my tip for next year is to dig in to the root zone as much composted material as you can possibly get. This will hold the moisture in the lower soil to make watering through these hot summers a lot easier. Now I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Diane and myself, and remember, enjoy your gardening.
Hello, my contribution towards the 12 days of Christmas is a few tips to consider if you're looking to get allotment, whether it's the first time or moving. And also check the regulations regarding, can you plant fruit trees, can you put a shed, can you have a greenhouse, or could you have both, and is there a maximum size that you can have those as well. Also try and get a visit to the plot when there's somebody there. Nothing better than talking to the people that's actually working the plot. Ask them what type of soil it is, clay soil, loam, sand, and also is there any soil-borne issues regarding stuff like clubroot and stuff like that. Might be worth and all having a look on Google Earth or maps, something like that, and look at, if you've been offered a plot, look at the orientation, check out which is north, south, east and west, and then that will give you an idea of the travel of the sun, and also if shadows are going to be a problem. And last but not least, think about starting a YouTube channel up. It's a great community and we're a good bunch of people on there. So that's all for me. I'd like, from the Muddy Boots Allotment channel, wish you all a very happy Christmas and prosperous New Year. Hope to see you in the new year 2019.
Frohe Weihnachten, everybody from Switzerland. Now this is my tip for your garden next year, and that is a tip only if you have difficulties with the allium leaf miner. The tip is you just have to invest a bit of money buy a good quality EnviroMesh, and then you plant the garlic or the onions, you build a structure, and then put the mesh on from the very beginning until the very end, until you actually harvest. The first year on plot 15 back in London, we didn't do anything. It just grew really nicely, and only in the very end you actually could see it's completely damaged by these little buggers. I left it on for the entire period until you actually take it out and harvest. And they were wonderful, they were perfect. No single damage of the allium leaf miner. So that's my tip for you. Here we go. Frohe Weihnachten and Merry Christmas to all of you. Oh, I forgot something. Oh, you see how cold it is. Merry Christmas to you. How cold is it?
Merry Christmas! One of the best tips that I ever received was to round out the soil on top of your raised beds to make them more space efficient. A rounded bed that's 5 feet across at its base could give you a 6-foot arc across the top. Now this foot might not seem like much, but once you multiply it by the length of your bed, you'll soon see the increase that you can get in your growing space. A 20-foot long bed, for example, that's 5 feet wide could increase from 100 square feet to 120 square feet just by rounding out your soil on top. And the best plants for planting around the margins: lettuce, spinach, all your leafy greens. Make the most of your growing space for 2019. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hello everybody! I popped over to the lovely Jane's channel to say hello and a very, very happy Christmas to you all. Yay! Oh, it's quite nice sitting in Jane's channel. Thank you, Jane. Now, when Jane asked me about doing this little bit of video, she asked me to quickly talk about my top tip or my top hint. So I had a little think about it, and I was thinking along the lines of successional sowing, crop rotation, planning. Planning is really important. Making sure there's always something ready to go in when a bed becomes empty. All that palaver. But actually, on reflection, I think the best advice I can give anyone is just get out there and get stuck in. That's become my mantra. Just get out there. It's so easy to make excuses as to why you can't get to your allotment or into your garden. It's too cold, it's too dry, it's too warm, it's too wet. The garden isn't going to do itself. You need to get out there and you need to get stuck in, and you need to do it regularly. Be consistent. It doesn't matter if each time you visit you only do a really, really small amount. Just keep at it, keep going, get out there no matter what the weather, unless of course we're knee deep in snow or it's really, really lashing with rain. The winter, we're going into winter now, it's the most perfect time, especially if you've got a brand new plot, you want to get your beds dug out, or if you've had a plot for a while, you want to rearrange things, put your paths in, all of that sort of thing. So don't make excuses when you get up in the morning. Put your allotment hat on and get down there. Get stuck in. And you'll be rewarded with the most beautiful, gorgeous veggies you've ever tasted in your life. So, on that note, I'm going to say bye and happy Christmas, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful, lovely, peaceful, fun, happy time. Whatever you get up to and whoever you get up to it with.
Hello my gardening friends, my name's Terry King from the Robotic Allotment Gardener channel, and I just want to give you one or two tips on leaf mould. So why not let's join me out on the plots. So first of all we need leaves, and lots of them. I've collected 20 bags this year already. 8 of them are already in the leaf mould bin. Now this is a double pallet bin, and as you can see, to help the process I add coffee grounds and urine. Now this is quite stale urine. I've been collecting several buckets over the summer. You don't want to go into that corner. I also add fish poo from home, the filters from the fish pond. 2016 I collected 12 bags and ended up with 3 wheelie bin fulls of this material. That's 12 1-ton bags. Great stuff. In 2017 I collected 18 bags. They've only just fitted into here. Now I estimate I'll probably get 4 wheelie bins full. So with 20 odd bags I may even get 5. The only thing I don't do is actually mulch the leaves before I put them in. But you can see what I get after 2 years. Does it really matter? Because once it's been through my homemade trommel, then we get that lovely stuff to use in and around the allotment. Thanks for watching. I'm sure you'll put some lovely comments in there for Jane. Till next time, my friends, from the Robotic Allotment Gardener, ta-ra for now.
My tip is all about parsnips. Now first of all you need to start off with fresh seed, and a lot of people have problems in trying to germinate seed, and that's because they like to be germinated in the dark. So let's imagine it's time to start sowing your parsnips. You make a drill, you pop your seed in, you cover it with your soil, and then the trick is put a floorboard on top of it or a scaffolding board and press it down, because parsnips like to germinate in the dark. And then come back and every few days just check, lift it up and check, and as soon as you see the little seedlings pop up, then whip the wood off, and then they'll grow on into beautiful parsnips. And that is my top tip for Christmas. Parsnips like to germinate in the dark.
Merry Christmas from Richard
and Paul.
And as you can see, we've filled our house with giant Christmas baubles and we're living amongst them. This is part of Jane's Allotment Christmas special to share with you our gardening tips and tricks.
Tips.
Tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Paul, what's your tip and trick?
My tip is bottle, empty plastic bottle. Really good deterrent for foxes and also for pigeons. Pop it on a pole, a piece of bamboo. In the wind it rattles. If a fox goes and nudges it, it rattles and it will scare them away, and it also is a deterrent for pigeons, as I say. So a few of these on the plot will help.
And you can also pimp one up for an ideal Christmas present for a gardening friend.
Are you going to wrap that?
You're getting it for Christmas.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. So wishing everybody a very, very Merry Christmas, especially to Jane and her allotment.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Jane.
Bye for now.
Hello, I'm Liz, and my top gardening tip for next year is climbing beans, whether those are French beans, Renner beans, Greek beans. Many of them can actually be grown as perennial plants, so when you come to the end of the season next year, don't pull them out. Cut the stems off at about 6 to 8 inches above soil level and mulch around them and wait, because next year you may well find that they will come back up. Doesn't work every time, but if you save some seed, you can always pop those in any gaps. And so wherever you're gardening and whatever you're growing, I hope 2019 proves to be a successful and fruitful year for you.
Hi, it's Erica. My top tip for next year is to make sure that you label absolutely everything. Now, every year I make the same mistake over and over again. I plant things up, I don't put a label on, and within about 2 weeks I have absolutely no idea what is in that pot. So next year I'm going to be using these wooden labels. Now, you don't have to buy labels, they're very easy to make at home out of old margarine containers or plastic milk bottles, so definitely give that a go next year. Now, I hope everybody has an amazing Christmas, and I hope that 2019 brings you health and happiness and a massive harvest. Merry Christmas!
Hello folks, I'm Tony O'Neill from UK Here We Grow, and my top tip for new gardeners is don't get drawn into that hype that rotavators are your best friend, because sometimes they can be your worst enemy. Let me explain. When you first take over a garden or an allotment, it tends to be covered in weeds. Now, they can be annuals or perennials. Annuals are not a problem if they're rotavated into the ground because they will die under the earth because they get no light. Perennials are a different matter. If you rotivate perennials and cut them all up and put them into the ground, they're going to grow back and you're going to be asking for trouble. There are lots of different varieties of perennial weeds, such as couch grass, dock and dandelion, and like this, bindweed. As you can see here, each little node has new roots coming from it. Now, if you chop these up using a rotavator, each one of those little pieces is going to grow into a brand new plant, which is going to compound your weed issue. This is the reason why new gardeners quit within the first year, because the weeds quickly overwhelm them and they think it's too hard to continue. That vision of growing your own food or flowers quickly goes out the window as the weeds bring them back down to reality with a bump. You'd be better off digging out all those perennial weeds just once. Yes, it's hard work, but look at what you can achieve afterwards. It's okay to use a rotavator on soil like this that only has small minute weeds in, because we've already taken out all of those perennial weeds. We can't cut them up because they're not in here. So it really does make a difference, and if you want your soil looking like this, then guys, don't use the rotavator. First off, dig it, get out those perennial weeds, because you can't see what's down in the ground below you. I know it's a daunting task, but just dig sections at a time. Take your time and you will be there before you know it. Remember, just persevere, but beat those perennial weeds. I'm Tony O'Neill. I hope this has been of interest to you. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Okay, my tip, and it might seem a bit general, but it's something that I've learned the hard way, really, is don't expect everything to be perfect. If you do, you're going to crash at the first hurdle, because you cannot control the weather, you cannot control pests completely. You know, whichever way you garden, if a bunch of rabbits, or whatever you call a bunch of rabbits, decide to come and eat all your lettuces overnight, you know, you're just going to have to swallow it and get on, really. So yeah, if your garden is absolutely perfect, I would say either you're doing something wrong or it must be really boring. Is that wrong? I know you can get low maintenance and everything, but you know, if you're continuing to grow and explore, these little challenges, shall we call them, will crop up from time to time, and it's only through them that we learn. So do not give up. We're all in the same boat. I'm sure even Monty Don has disasters every now and then. Okay, so that's my top tip, and I've kept it short. So what do you think? 12 tips there, or at least 11 top tips and mine for you to take away and use as you wish, even if you might think at this moment, I don't think I'll, you know, be using any of them. There'll be one day when you're maybe putting your onions in and you might suddenly think, tomorrow, yeah, she said get the Enviromesh out, okay, I'm doing that. Or you need more space in your beds, Kelly, make more space, make your beds rounded so you can get things in around the side. All of these things, they might just come to you. Hopefully, you know, one or two will stick in there. And I think it's great. And you know, the amazing thing, I think, for me, was as the clips are coming in, I really expected there might be one or two that were the same, but actually everyone's come up with something completely different. And how amazing is that? That's so good. Everyone's got their one tip that they stick by. And so actually it was more by good luck than good management, but it made my life a lot easier. So yeah, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's put their time and energy into taking part. I think it's a lovely little compilation that we've got there. Sadly, I haven't been able to put links on everyone's clip because I could only put 5 on in the editing software I'm using. So I'm putting the links to everybody's channel below the video. I'm sure you've been and seen them. If you haven't, go and visit them. They are all lovely, wonderful, experienced, fantastic gardeners and people, and they're worth a look. They're really worth a look. As I say, we're continually growing. There's continually new people coming in as well. We've got fresh blood coming in with all their ideas, and it's just wonderful to be part of it. And the other thing is to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to the subscribers, new and old, who've joined me over the last couple of years. I am going to keep going. I've got this blooming great big new allotment for the next growing season, so I think this next year is going to be real fun. Hard work, but fun. So yeah, thank you to everybody. Just thank you to everybody. I feel like I'm at the Oscars, so I'm going to shut up now. So yeah, keep warm, keep safe, have a wonderful Christmas wherever you are, and I'll see you in the new year. Thank you.